Good morning, everyone. Today we will have two presentations for our seminar, and these are the PhD proposal presentations by two PhD students at the University of Western Australia in the School of Agriculture and Environment. First presenter will be Putri Satyawati.
Okay, thank you, Tafes. Good morning, everyone. It is with great pleasure that today I stand before you to present my research proposal entitled Rice Farmers' Resilience to Climate Change in Indonesia, Insights from a Social-Ecological Approach. But first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to my supervisors because of their guidance and then their support to finish my research proposal. Okay, so before we dive into the detail of the research proposal, I would like to talk about why we are interested in this research topic. Actually, we know that the climate change has becoming a major risk in every country, including in Indonesia. And the Indonesian Agency of Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics in 2020 has projected the average daily temperature changes in 2020 to 2049. If we take a closer look in this map, we can see that the majority island has a dark color. It means that the temperature changes is getting higher. If the climate variability is getting higher, so it will have an impact on many aspects. It is also this map gives also an information about the temperature changes in which it varies between less than 0.9 degrees Celsius and also to more than 1.3 degrees Celsius. It means that the variability of temperature is different. So it's in line with the report from Asian Development Bank in 2021 that the Indonesian average annual temperature was about 0.8 degrees Celsius warmer. Not only talking about the temperature changes in this report, also discuss about the reduction of the reduction of rainfall frequency, in which it's about 3%. We also get additional information that in this current year, in 2023, Indonesian peak of dry season is getting drier than in previous 3 years, and also for the rainy season, it will come later and become shorter. So related to the climate variability, it means that if the climate variability is getting higher, so it will have an impact on the water availability, especially for agricultural production. In line with this statement, Indonesian Ministry of National Development Planning in 2018 has projected the water availability in 2020 to 2034. If we take again a closer look in this map, this one is called Sumatra Island, and then this island is called Java Island. Actually, these two islands are the central of rice production. So if we look at this map, this island called Java Island has red color. It means that the climate variability in Java Island is higher than other islands. It's also in line with the data from the Statistic Indonesia. Since the climate variability is high, so it will cause an effect of the decrease in rice production. And also the decrease of rice production will give a big potential for economic losses equals to around 7 billion Australian dollar in 2020 to 2045. And another data we get that there was a gap productivity between potential productivity and actual productivity as many as 3 tons per hectare in 2022. So as rice commodity and also looking at the population size of Indonesia, rice as a main commodity of Indonesia, so I would like to know how farmers are giving a response to this climate change issue. Okay. Now we are going to define actually what is agricultural production, the position of agricultural production in social-ecological system. Actually, the concept of social-ecological system is becoming my career theory in this research project. And by looking at this figure, we know that social ecological system consists of two subsystems, the ecological one and also the social one. In social subsystem, there is an interaction between some stakeholders, farmers, and also supply chain actors, and also natural resources managers. This interaction will give an impact in farming management practices to ecological subsystem, and in turn, ecological subsystem will give ecosystem goods and services to social subsystem and also to society. So, from this explanation, we can say that social ecological system shows an interconnection between people and nature. And with a closer look, we can focus on some things. The first one is how the system will have the different component in which they will be interacting and will be organized. And then the second one, how the system is moving, as we know that the system is always changing and dynamics, in particular with the complexity and also uncertainty. And the last one, how the system will give a response to disturbance and shock as well as stress. And actually, this is the definition of the concepts in resilience. Okay, after talking about the grand theory in social ecological system, now we are going to explain about the resilience, the position of resilience in social ecological system. Actually, resilience is a fundamental system property of a social ecological system in which this concept describes the capacity to absorb shocks and its counter robustness, and then the capacity to adjust, it's called adaptability, and also the capacity to reorganize, or we can say also that's transformability. There's three capacities, there's three resilience capacities is also called as the dimension according to the literature from Edger, Falk, and also Mewison. And also, since I have mentioned about social ecological system, if I put resilience concept in the in social ecological system, it means that I have to define what is social resilience and ecological resilience. In defining these two concepts, I am assuming that social resilience and also ecological resilience are linked in each other. And we can also say that social resilience defines the capacity of how well groups, communities, in particular farmers, to handle the disturbances, while ecological resilience defines how well the environment can keep working while encountering the disturbances. So that's the definition of social ecological resilience. Okay, when I did some literature review, I found some papers related to farmers' resilience topics, and then some of them was conducted in Indonesia, China, Iran, and also Thailand, but with different approaches. So some of them mostly they are using the concept of livelihood, either an asset-based livelihood, adaptive livelihood, or also the perception of livelihood capacity. But I don't find the research in which they are applying the concept of social ecological resilience, especially in rice farming. I found one in Thailand, and I would like to adopt some of the result into Indonesian context. So that is why little is known about measuring farmers' resilience and its impact on farmers' welfare in Indonesia, using a social ecological lens that will become my general research objective. Okay. Actually, my research objective will be divided into three studies. The first one is about developing an assessment framework of social ecological resilience under climate change. The idea is coming when I did literature review. I have difficulties in finding how to measure farmers' resilience and how to get the proper indicators to measure farmers' resilience. So this is why I would like to know how social ecological concept can be used to identify resilience indicators in a climate change context. So the research objective is to develop an assessment framework to measure farmers' resilience. This study will be conducted started by doing systematic literature review or SLR using Prisma framework, and there are some steps to follow, starting from planning, identification, screening, and analysis, as well as interpretation. But before doing this study, I have to make a fixed SLR protocol for outlining that every steps will be conducted in a clear way. So after that, I would have to determine the database searching. Either I would like to use OneSearch as open library of UWA, or Google Scholar, Science Direct, Web of Science, or maybe all of them I will be used as my database searching. And also after that, I would have to select the suitable articles for doing my study. So in this study, I would use Mendeley and Confidence. These tools are beneficial. For example, Mendeley is beneficial for screening process. It has facility to remove automatically duplicate articles, and also for Confidence, it will be useful for data extraction. And also, I'm also grateful for UWA librarian that they will help us to make systematic literature review by helping for looking out the strategy for database searching. So that's the method for study. And then the research output for this study is building a conceptual framework for SER assessment. As I have mentioned before, that social ecological resilience consists of some dimensions: robustness, adaptability, and transformability. But there is no specific indicators explaining social indicators and then ecological indicators for each dimension. And that's why I will be doing systematic literature review to fill the gaps for finding out the specific indicators for each dimension. Okay, well, for the second study is about measuring social ecological resilience of rice farmers to climate change. It is still related to my previous study after having framework, and then I will use this framework to measure social ecological resilience. The first one, I would like to quantify farmers' resilience, and then to develop Indonesian farmers' resilient model, because we know that we will have so many indicators that, and then we don't know which one is suitable to be implemented in Indonesia. So that will be my second objective. And then the third one is to analyze which factors affecting farmers' resilience. Since this study is a fieldwork study, so I would like to explain first about my research study area and also my research sampling. For my research study area, first of all, I would like to know which province that has the biggest contribution on rice production. And according to the data from the Statistik Indonesia in 2023, East Java is the highest contributor in Indonesian rice production, followed by other province. And then I'm going to take a look in detail in East Java. This is actually the map of East Java. It's very large. And then in East Java, I will be looking at which regency has the highest production. And according to the policy from Indonesian government, actually Indonesian government already put some priority location for climate resilient development policy, and Malang Regency is one of top priority in this policy. So Malang is like being here, and then in Malang consists of some district, and my research will be conducted in three districts in Malang Regency, which has the highest contribution in rice production. The first one in here, it's called Pakisaji, and then this one is Sumber Pucung, and then this one is Singosari. That's for my research study area. While for determining my sample size, I will be using multi-stage sampling, consists of 3 stages. The first one is choosing district with the highest production, and then the second one, for each district, I will be choosing the villages with the highest production again. And then for the third stages, I will be choosing for the farmers as my respondent. And for choosing farmers, I will have to contact the local agricultural extension workers for their information. So that's the research sampling for my study. Okay, wait. Okay, sorry, I'm a little bit thirsty. Okay, for the second study related to research methods, since I have mentioned that for this study I have three objectives, and then for the analysis, I will be using two analysis. The first one is principal component analysis, and then the second one is topic regression. Principal component analysis will be used to answer the first objective and then the second objective, in which for the first objective, I will be integrating all resilience index into a composite, all resilience variable into a composite index to create resilience index. And the value of this index vary between 0 to 1. And also I will keep continuing using this analysis to decompose correlation among the observed variables, or I can say also the specific indicators of social and ecological indicators, whether or not one variable have a strong correlation with other variables. If they have strong correlation, it means that there is a possibility to make a new component that can be attributed to the underlying factors. So that's for the second objective. And then for the third objective, I would like to analyze factors affecting farmers' resilience using topic regression. And my dependent variable is farmers' resilience index. And since its value vary between 0 to 9, so it's like my dependent variable is set into certain limits. So that is why I will be using topic regression with my independent variables are social ecological indicators for each resilience dimension. So that's for my research method. And also for the last study is about contribution of farmers' social ecological resilience to farmers' welfare. Before explaining about this study, I would like also to define actually what is farmers' welfare, what kind of indicators that can measure farmers' welfare. And according to my literature review, farmers' welfare consists of three indicators: food security, farm income, and also consumption expenditure. And in this study, I would like to know the causal effect between resilient farmers and also with the farmers' welfare. Are resilient farmers more food secure and have higher welfare? For this causal analysis, I will be using regression, and since there is a big potential to have endogeneity problem between resilience as my variables to the error term, and it will become an endogenous variable, and it will make my estimator will be inconsistent and biased. So that is why I will be adding another another variable called instrument variable for this analysis, and it's called instrument variable regression using two-stage LS as a method of parameter estimation. This analysis consists of two stages. The first one is to regress the instrument variable and resilience as my independent variables to know whether there is a correlation between these variables, and also I will get the estimation from this regression. The value of this estimation, I will be use this to regress with the farm income and then food security, household consumption expenditure. For food security, I will be using food consumption score. It's like a food recall for the past 7 days of household farmers. Yes. Yes, then please.
In terms of resilience, I think probably more resilient households are more diversified households through, this is a comment, is through the labour market. And you didn't mention wealth, that's a big help with resilience.
Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. So I think household labour diversity is important because because
Oh, okay.
take the household as a whole, not specifically household.
Oh,
And usually resilience relates to diversification in the labour market.
okay.
And it didn't mention wealth, which is, because if you've got savings or you've got property or you've got something else or you've got remuneration, then you tend to be more resilient than a house.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you, Ben, for the suggestion. Yes, yes, thank you for the suggestion. Actually, I have not been thinking about the relation between the wealth and farmers' resilience, but yes, I will be taking consideration of this.
I think you'll find it's quite important because Indonesian households will be highly diverse.
Yes.
My experience as it goes.
Okay. Thank you, Ben.